can't be free. Everybody wanna judge, say I'm a thug, I'm a player, I'm a simple, why I can't be me? When I walk up in the store, all the Karens get to staring at me. Put my heart in my music, it's still on my sleeve. Everybody been portrayed.
So fam, what's the word? It's your boy Spiritual Trey, and it is now episode 48 of the Soulful Thoughts blog. And today we gonna be talking about transmuting energy. Now, if y'all been watching the channel long enough, y'all know I've been talking about transmuting energy pretty much from the start of me, starting this channel and everything. So this is not really a teaching video. This is more so a motivational video. Now, if you guys, before we get started, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. And if you guys haven't seen my, sorry y'all, crossing the street and shit. But if you guys haven't seen my Peter walking on water part 1 video, I definitely think that you guys should go check that out, because it'll just help you follow along with this one a lot better. Now, for the ones who have seen that video, y'all know I was basically talking about, Peter walking on water is basically an allegory to us not getting too absorbed into our emotions and observing our emotions from a logical standpoint, right? We gonna go, well, we already went deep enough. I just want to give y'all another angle of perception on that story, because instead of talking about logically observing our emotions, today we gonna talk about transmuting our emotions, because we know that when it comes to water, it can be any temperature, right? It can be cold and brittle. It can be warm and pleasant, or it can be too hot to handle, right? And obviously, we have the power to transmute water to whatever temperature we like. So if our waters are currently cold and brittle, we can transmute those waters into warm and pleasant waters, right? In the physical form, we do this just by simply adding hot water to the cold water. It's gonna eventually balance out to warm, right? Right. So on the esoteric level, how do we transmute our cold and brittle waters, our emotions that might be, forbidden emotions that we might be trying to ignore because they might be coming from traumatic situations in our past, or, our triggers, you feel me, stuff like that. How do we transmute our triggers and our forbidden emotions into pleasant, lighthearted, warm emotions? It's simple. We see examples of this every single day. It's people that we see transmuting their energy from past situations every single day. I want to ask y'all a question. Who is the most inspirational people on the planet? You got doctors, you got lawyers, police officers, firefighters. All of those people are very inspiring, right? But who are the most, in my opinion anyway, and should be everyone else's opinion, who has a strong case for being the most inspirational people on this planet? Pretty sure if by the title y'all already guessed it. The answer to that question is comedians. Now, I know some of y'all thinking like, comedians? How the hell are comedians the most inspirational people on the planet? They don't do nothing but make people laugh, right? Well, isn't laughter healing? They say laughter is healing, right? Right. And let's think about what comedians do. Specifically, comedians like Kevin Hart. I wanted to make sure I put him in the title because to me, he is the best example of someone who's transmuted energies from their past traumas, situations that might have been triggers at one point. That might have caused his triggers at one point. He has transmuted those situations into situations that we can all use for our own healing, because they make us laugh and everything. Hearing his stories, how he grew up, is funny, right? But let's really think about what Kevin Hart talks about when he gets on stage. If you guys are fans of Kevin Hart and you've seen some of his earlier stand-ups, you know that the whole source of Kevin Hart's comedy was what? Us laughing at his pain, right? things that he has been through growing up, such as his father being on drugs. That's one of his main talking points in his comedy skits, right? Can y'all imagine how traumatizing that is, being born into a family where your parents are on drugs? A lot of us were in that situation growing up, right? Not me personally, by the way. My parents weren't on drugs. You feel me? But they had their other flaws that I had to deal with. So no matter what flaws your parents or guardians or whoever were around you, I'm pretty sure y'all can put yourself in that man's shoes and imagine how traumatic it would be having a parent that's on drugs. Like, imagine you in a spelling bee and your dad wander in there off some crack and he actually scream out in front of everybody, "Spill long dick." Like that's a situation that Kevin Hart said actually happened. That he was in a spelling bee and his father came in there drunk and on crack telling that man to spell out long dick. Like, it's funny to us, right? And that's probably not what his father actually said, man. He probably just came in there being loud and belligerent. But I guarantee y'all during that moment, that wasn't funny for Kevin Hart. That was probably more than likely one of the most embarrassing situations he had ever been through, right? Probably shed the tears over it. You know, that probably was a real trauma for Kevin growing up. You know, situations like that happening. His father embarrassing him or just feeling ashamed to even claim his father. I'm pretty sure he went through those type of emotions. So before we get too offhand, let's compare that to the Peter story. Kevin was born into a storm, right? Because remember, the storm is what caused Peter to start drowning in the Peter story. Remember, y'all got to go watch my last video. I'm not about to explain the whole story. The storm is what caused Peter to start drowning, right? At first, he was walking on the water, walking towards Jesus. But the storm started getting a little crazy. It struck fear into his heart. He started noticing he was walking on water and actually started drowning, right? That storm in Kevin Hart's life is the situation he was born into. He was born into a storm. His dad being on drugs and everything. That was a storm that Kevin Hart had to deal with. And whatever emotions, negative emotions he went through because of that storm is the symbology. It's symbolic to Peter drowning in his waters, right? I'm pretty sure Kevin Hart had many nights where he was drowning because of the storm his father had created for him, right? Now, Kevin eventually found Jesus. And by Jesus, he found his purpose, right? He found his purpose with comedy. And he used his purpose, he used Jesus as a focus point to get himself out of the waters he was drowning in. In order for him to even do that, it had to come a point where Kevin started logically observing his emotions, right? He started walking on his waters before he actually transmuted them. He actually started observing the emotions he had been through, observing what his father had been through to actually lead to him being on drugs. And Kevin had to come to some type of logical understanding of why the storm had even been created in the first place, right? He had to come up to some type of logical understanding before he can start transmuting any type of emotion within that storm, within that situation, right? And I'm pretty sure if Kevin Hart ever see this video, he can attest to this. So, boom. He did some shadow work. He probably studied how his dad came up, things his dad had been through, came to an understanding of why his dad even went down the path that he went down that led him to being on drugs. He stopped judging his father, because if you pay attention, Kevin doesn't have any ill will towards his father. His father died recently, I believe. And on his last stand-up, he wouldn't even let people, feel sad when he announced that his father had died. He wanted them to celebrate his father's life. He wanted the energy to stay light and warm-hearted with that situation. He didn't want others drowning because of it, right? So it's clear that he developed some type of logical understanding for his pops. And that logical understanding took the grudge away, because I'm pretty sure at one point he was harboring some type of grudge energies towards his pops because of the way he was acting. He used his logic to transform that grudge energy into an understanding and loving energy. And from that point, he used that understanding and loving energy to help us with our healing. Because he started using that situation and turning it around from being traumatic into being funny events, right? He used that light and warm-hearted energy that he developed for his dad and for the situations he been through, and he made it warm and lighthearted for us to hear about, right? Transmute his pain into humor and make it funny for everybody else to hear about and laugh along with us. Y'all don't know how powerful that shit is. Taking something that was once traumatic to you and you can actually laugh at what you've been through. Do y'all know how powerful that shit is? And you can actually get other people to laugh instead of feeling bad for you, instead of feeling sorry, sending energies that might have you feeling sad. You can have other people send lighthearted energies towards your way too. Think about it, y'all. This man told us his dad was a crackhead. We not feeling bad for him though. I mean, when you really think about it, you might start to feel bad, but you won't feel bad too long, because you noticing that the person who went through it, they not even drowning through it. They swimming through that situation, right? They transmuted those waters from cold and bitter to warm and pleasant. Anytime he goes back to those memories of his dad doing those type of things, it doesn't affect him negatively to the point it did when he was a child. Completely transmuted the whole way he grew up. So that's why I wanted to throw Kevin Hart in the title. Kevin Hart is one of the greatest examples of Peter not only walking on water, but transmuting the waters from cold and bitter to warm and pleasant. Or from being too hot to handle, because your waters are hot when you're mad, right? When you got those triggers. Your triggers, those are the waters that's too hot to handle. Your depression and situations that got you depressed, that's the waters that might be, your traumas and stuff like that. Those are your cold and bitter waters. He took his traumas, his cold and bitter waters. He took his triggers, his hot waters, and made his whole ocean warm and pleasant. That shit's so powerful to me, y'all. Rappers, we see rappers do this shit all the time. Anytime a rapper is going through something, what they do, they make a song about it, right? They transmute their pain into art, right? So it's multiple ways you can transmute your pain. Y'all don't have to live in y'all pain forever. It's just you choosing to do it. So yeah, this video gonna be pretty short, because like I say, this is not me teaching. This is more so a motivational lesson. If Kevin Hart can do it, if Bernie Mac can do it, if Kendrick Lamar, J. Cole, Andre 3000, all of these different artists can transmute their energy, not even just artists, let me put some more. If therapists can do it, if life coaches can do it, if inspirational, motivational speakers can do it, if all of these people can transmute their energy, why can't you? You just as special as all of us. The world is so damn beautiful, and that's because we have the power to make it as beautiful as we want it to be. Remember that. It's your boy Spiritual Trey signing out. Remember, family, you are not your mind. You are the spirit that's forming and creating your mind. So stop letting past experiences block you from using your power, which is perception control. Every single thing that happened to you, every single thing that brought you pain, pain is nothing but a transition to growth. You can't experience joy without pain. You can't experience growth without pain. So we all of us have been through some shit. It's up to you if you're going to go through the shit and just continue to go through the shit, or if you're going to go through the shit and grow through the shit. Make your choice, Peter. You gonna walk in water or you gonna drown in your waters? You gonna transmute your waters or you gonna complain about the temperature of your waters? It's up to you, Peter. It's your boy Spiritual Trey signing out. Love you, family.
On the beat, start preaching. Feel no evil, see no evil, but peep it. I don't aim for the stars, I want leeches. And the snake spawn, I'ma kill the whole species. Rest in peace to all the peaceful preaching. The youngest wildin', but they say they evil, that's kinda reaching. Who really controlling the way you thinking? Find the truth.